Sure. Shavua Tov, everyone. It's nice to be here with all of you. Hello. Hello to everyone joining us on Zoom as well. Ready? What do we think? So we're going to make our way out of Shabbat right now. And usually when we're going out of Shabbat, we go into Chol, into just a regular weekday. Ooh. And this particular Shabbat, we're not going into Kodesh necessarily, but we're going into a renewed sense of awareness. We're going into something that we really need to focus on. We're moving our way into Selichot, into this time of year, this whole season. We started a couple weeks ago with Rosh Chodesh Elul, and now we're getting closer. We have a lot of pomp and circumstance related to these days, which we'll keep talking about as we make our way into Selichot. But first, we have to give Shabbat its due, bid it goodbye. So, can you hear the guitar inside the sanctuary? Yeah? Okay, good. Cool. So we're just going to begin with this melody right into Havdalah. And it's a melody that just sort of takes everything that we went through over the course of Shabbat, the things that we sang together, the experiences that we had, and it just allows us to sort of bring it back in and move into the next week with a sense of calm. So it just begins with a big sigh. Can everybody just take a big sigh together? It just goes, ah. Yeah, it's a vocal sigh, so you can do it even in your mouth. Just try it one more time. It goes, ah. And the sigh actually has a melody that goes along with it, and it goes like this. It's Can you try that with me? That's exactly right. Let's try it again just like that. Good. So that's going to come around a whole bunch of times. And when it does, I hope you sing along with us. But we're going to begin by just singing a love song to Shabbat. Trying to hold on to Shabbat for just one last minute before we bid her goodbye. It goes like this. When the moonlight hits your eyes and the stars begin to glow, one by one, and the flame that shines below from 1,000 points of light, brighter than the sun, and you can taste it, you can smell it in the air, and you can see it on my fingertips, and you can wish it like a whisper on your lips. Count the stars like 1, 2, 3 and say goodbye. Sing ah, 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 just like that one more time. And you can taste it, you can smell it in the air, and you can see it on my fingertips, and you can wish it like a whisper on your lips. Just like that one more time. If you want to rise with me in body or in spirit as we begin Havdalah, as we say goodbye to Shabbat, we'll rise together. Hinei el Yeshuati Eftach velo efchad Ki ozi v'zimrat ya Adonai ויהי לי לישועה, ושפתם מים בששון ממייני הישועה לאדוני הישועה. Together. על עמך ברכתך סלה. Adonai Tzvaot Imanu Miskav lanu Elohei Yaakov Selah. Adonai Tzvaot Ashrei Adam Boteach Ba. Adonai Hoshia. Together. Hamelech Yaneinu Biyom Koreinu Laihudim Haita Orah. Together. Besimcha Besason Veikar Ken tiyeh lanu Kos Yeshuot Esa Uveshem Adonai Ekra. Just like that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri agafen Baruch atah olam borei minei besamim borei minei besamim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh borei meorei ha'esh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lecho ben or lechoshev ben Yisrael amim ben yom hashvi לששת ימי המעשה. ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לחול. Shavua tov, 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 Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishmi, Eliyahu Eliyahu Agiladi Bimehera Beyameinu Yavo Eleinu Imashiach ben David Imashiach ben David Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. We are so excited to welcome Rabbi Josh Warshawsky once again to our community and to help lead us in really the self-reflection, the self-presence that's needed for this time of year. We've talked for the last more than a month at this point about what the soul is and what it might mean to do a cheshbon nefesh, to do an accounting of that soul. And this moment is an opportunity not only to sit, but also to sing, to express that soul into the world, to raise up that soul through our music, and ultimately through nigun, the place beyond words that inevitably our music brings us to. And so we're excited to be together with you, Josh, for this weekend. We're excited to be together with all of you who are in this room and all of you who are at home. For those who would like, who are online and would like the song sheet for tonight, Neil, if you could post that in the chat, there's a PDF of it as well. And get started.
And for those who are here, we have there were song sheets on the table. Hopefully you found them on the way in. All right. So Shavua Tov, everyone. It's great to get to spend the whole weekend together. But really, I'm so excited to get to spend this evening together and move towards the high holidays in the moment of elevation and melody and nigun. And we're actually gonna, usually when I leave Shabbat, I already want to find a way to get back into Shabbat. So we're gonna sing one of the melodies that actually we sang this morning to sort of open ourselves up to this experience. And it has to do with the thing that we just did. It has to do with fire and with illumination, with bringing more light into the world. What does it look like to add more light? And to find ways to notice new moments of light every single day. And the words come from our morning service, HaMe'ir la'aretz v'la'arim aleh barachamim, God who illuminates the whole world and all of its inhabitants with mercy, and in goodness every single day renews the act of creation. And that's the part that really fascinated me when I first really began to notice these words. It's that newness every single day. And like we talked about earlier this morning, it's not really a fully new beginning. It's a renewal, right? We're beginning from somewhere. We're not coming from the very beginning. It's not a creation from nothing. It's starting from somewhere. And how can we get to an elevated point from where we were? How can we be even the better version of ourselves than we were last year, this coming year? So we're going to start from that moment of nigun. We're going to start from a hum. And we're going to try and bring ourselves from that elevation, from the hum, into these words. And if you want to sing along with us, that would be so wonderful, wherever you happen to be. We're going to start just humming it out together. Try and find a little more illumination as they move towards 5782. Hum, 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 V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'rachamim u'tova mechadeshet b'chol yom tamid u'tova mechadeshet ma'aseh l'reishit. Hum and now, hum and now, hum and now, now hum. V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha,
V'ladrim aleha, b'rachamim u'tova mechadeshet b'chol yom tamid, b'chol yom tamid u'tova mechadeshet ma'aseh l'reishit. Hum it one more time with us. Hum, We hummed out. We feel like we've hummed the energy in. All right, so we're gonna hold on to that humming for just another minute, and we're gonna make our way, just continuing from that flow. We'll bring it down in just a minute, but. The melodies that we were trying to share before we moved into Selichot are melodies that are hoping to get us into this mindset of what it's like to step in front of our Creator and open ourselves up and think about what we actually want to say in that moment. And so the words we're going to say right now are actually words from the High Holiday Liturgy. They're words that come right after we blow the shofar. Every time we blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, we have this big moment where we all stand up and we hear this call, and then the first words we say are Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the whole world was created. Hayom Ya'amid Bamishpat Kol Yitzurei Olamim. Today, all creations stand in judgment. And the question is, how are we going to be viewed? Not how are we going to be judged. How are we going to be viewed? Are we going to be viewed im kevanim, im ke'avadim? Are we going to be looked at like we're children? Or are we going to be looked at like we're slaves? And the question really isn't a question that we're asking God, it's really a question that we're asking ourselves. Because the way that God views us in this moment is really the way that we view ourselves. So are we going to think of ourselves as if we are children who have made mistakes, and so we ask for mercy because we've made mistakes and we can learn and we can grow? Or are we going to ask for mercy as if we were slaves who there's not really so much that we can do except for just wait for our master, for the person who is lording over us to come up with a decree? And it's a question that has a lot of sway on the way that we're going to act in that moment. Because if we believe that we are like children, then we've made mistakes, but we have to figure out a way to learn from our mistakes and grow. And if we believe that we were supposed to be viewed like slaves, then there's not really much that we could be doing to get better. So I think the idea here is that we're supposed to be figuring out how we want to view ourselves. So if you'll hear in the melody that there's sort of two different ways that the melody changes when we're thinking about ourselves as kavanim, as children, or as ke'avadim. And ideally, I think that we want to think of ourselves as people who can grow and mature and change. So that's what we'll hear when we sing this one together. Ay ay nay nay, ay nay nay, ay ay nay nay, ay nay nay, ay ay nay, ay ay nay nay, ay ay nay 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 nay. You want to try that with us this time? Ay ay nay nay, ay nay nay, ay ay nay nay. Hayom harat olam, hayom, hayom, hayom harat olam, hayom, hayom, hayom harat olam, hayom, hayom, hayom harat olam, hayom yamid bamishpat kol yitzurei olamim. Oh, im kevanim, im ke'avadim, oh, im kevanim, im ke'avadim, oh, im kevanim, im ke'avadim, im kevanim, rachameinu kerachem aval banim. Ve'im ke'avadim, einenu lecha tzluyot, עד שתכוננו ותוציא כאור משפטנו היום. קדוש, קדוש, איי 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 איי
Light lipstick on yours too?
Yeah.
Or is it too dark?
It's too dark, but maybe. That's nice.
I'm gonna go finish my thought.
So we're going to make our way from those words of how we view ourselves to thinking about some personal words. And I've been thinking for a while now about Psukei de Zimra, the verses that we say in the very beginning of our Shabbat morning service, and also on our weekday morning service. We have these basically hybrid psalms, right? These psalms, it's basically verses from lots of different places in the psalms that come together on a variety of themes. So themes of kingship and loyalty and trust. And I've been thinking about for a while that sometimes those are the things that I'm feeling in the morning. And usually I'm not really feeling those particular emotions. And tefillah, this act of prayer, is supposed to ready me for what I'm doing as I go about my day. It's supposed to help me be the best version of myself. This thing that we're doing for the high holidays, we can be doing it every single day. And so I thought, what would it be like if we took these verses from the Psalms? The Psalms is 150 Psalms, and every human emotion is captured within them somewhere. And what would it be like if we had these hybrid psalms that were on feeling nervous this morning? Here's a psalm that I could say. I'm feeling excited this morning. Here's a psalm that I could say. I'm going to see my family today after not seeing them for a while, and here's a psalm that I could say. I have a presentation that I have to give today, and I don't know how exactly I want to do it, but here's a psalm that I could say to help me orient myself to what I'm actually feeling. And so I had this whole idea for a big project to create all of these hybrid psalms based on all these different emotions, a siddur that could be an addendum to our siddur, that it could add to all these emotions that we're trying to feel and help us what's actually going on within our own selves. And I wrote one. It was going to be this big project, and this last year and a half was a year and a half where I was not feeling very creative. But this particular hybrid psalm is a hybrid psalm that I think could be said when someone is feeling alone, when you're feeling far from anyone, when you're feeling a lack of connection. A psalm calling out for not necessarily an answer, but for a connection, reaching out and hoping that there will be a response of some sort. Not sure where that response will come from, whether it will come from God, whether it will come from in the form of a friend, in the form of a phone call, in the form of a bird chirping, whatever form it takes. It's a calling out and hoping to reside in a place that feels more comfortable after we sing it. So we're going to try out these words, and then I wrote my own translation of what these words from the hybrid psalm would be, and they're here at number 4. And I just want to say before I get to there, but I'm really lucky that I get to be up here with Rabbi Sam and with Bonnie and get to be singing these melodies together and having such beautiful accompaniment, and also the harmonium. It's so beautiful. So thank you. And we're going to make our way into this one, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you hear a call, hear an answer. Adonai, Shema Tfilati, Shema Tfilati v'shavati elecha tavo. Al taster panecha mimeni V'yom tsar li Hatei elai oznecha V'yom ekra Maher aneini Al tirchak mimeni Ki tzara krova Ki ein ozer Ki ein ozer Achad shalti Meit Adonai Ota vakesh Shivti beveit Adonai Kol yemei chayai Havaya Hear my prayer from the dark I cry out to you I'm lost and weary and soaked from tears I cannot see Turn your ear to me on the day I call Don't hide from me You feel so far away from me And I need you now What will you say? What will I hear? One thing, just one thing I ask of you One thing is all I desire To feel you near A home I'll build in you Now until the end Adonai Shema tfilati v'shavati elecha tavo Al taster panecha mimeni V'yom tsar li Hatei elai oznecha V'yom ekra Maher aneini Al tirchak mimeni Ki tzara krova Ki ein ozer Achad shalti Meit Adonai Ota avakesh Shivti beveit Adonai Kol yemei chayai Shivti beveit Adonai Kol yemei chayai So, from that place of solitude, we're going to move into that feeling of finding a connection. If you look at number 5 on our pamphlet here. Sorry, there's 2 number 4s, so it's the second number 4, which is how numbers work. These are words from Psalm 23. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, lo ira ra, I fear no evil, ki ata imadi, for you are with me. And we talked a little bit this afternoon at our Rebbe's Tish about trying to find a way to elevate the words, open up the words with the music, to have the music be singing out what the emotions of the words are already trying to say. And these words are all about trying to find a way not to feel alone, not to feel afraid. The line that comes 2 lines after it in the psalm is, Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni, surely goodness and kindness will chase after me. It's not just that goodness and kindness are there, that it's there just sitting around. It's that they're looking for you. That whenever you're feeling alone, if you can find a way just to stick your head up, goodness and kindness are chasing after you to find you. Kol yemei chayai, all the days of our life. But it's about noticing where it might come from, figuring out a way to look. So the way that the melody works is we're going to sing these first words, Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet, and every time we sing the melody line, another voice gets added, so that even the words themselves are feeling less alone in being sung. So we're going to start, and whenever you feel comfortable, if you want to add your voices along with, to accompany the words on their way through the valley, find a way to help yourself also, your voice, feel less alone. And for those of you out in live stream and Zoom land, this melody has been particularly sticking with me because often when I'm singing at home in my house, the only voice that I can hear is my own voice. So it's really nice to be here in the sanctuary and get to hear other voices, and hopefully you'll get to hear another voice coming through the screen, and then you'll also get to add your own voice to that. So I hope that you do. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Ki ata imadi. Ki ata imadi. Ki ata imadi. Ach tov, tov v'chesed, ach tov, tov v'chesed, ach tov, tov v'chesed, yirdefuni, yirdefuni, yirdefuni. Kol yemei chayai, 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 kol yemei chayai. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo ira ra, ki ata imadi, gam ki elech begetz hamavet, lo ira ra, ki ata imadi, ki ata imadi, ki ata imadi, ki ata imadi. Ach tov, tov v'chesed, ach tov, tov v'chesed, ach tov, tov v'chesed, yirdefuni, 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 kol yemei chayai. We're giving ourselves a moment after each melody just to breathe it in. There's something to be said about when we're creating. I feel there's an energy that's created when you sing, and you could just let it go, or you could take a moment to breathe it back in and see what happens when you're filled up with that expanse of energy in the midst of the silence. So we're going to come back to that refrain, that idea of tshuva, of repentance. And these are words, even though, we talk about tshuva specifically during this time of year, but these words, Sam said them out loud during the Torah service at Mincha, and they sit right here in the middle of the Torah service, Shuva Adonai Revot Alfei Yisrael. And these words, or in the beginning of the Torah service, we say, Vayehi bin so Aharon Vayomer Moshe, right? When the ark is placed down and we take the Torah out, these were the words that Moses said, Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha, rise up, Holy One, in the face of your enemies, we're going to move up and we're going to have this Torah with us. And then at the end of the Torah service, we say, Uvnucho Yomar. When we put the Torah back in the ark, we will say, and then we say, we sort of just mumble that part. But those words are these really powerful words that, again, come from all these different places and are placed here in this particular moment for a reason. Shuva Adonai, return. God, come be with this myriad of your people. Come be with us wherever we happen to be, this remnant, wherever we are. Come join us. Kuma Adonai limnuchatecha. Come rise up to your resting place. Ata ve'aronuzecha. Come rest with us. Come be in this ark with us. Come be in our holy space. And this is the key right here, this last line. It says, Kohanecha yilbeshu tzedek. V'chasidecha yiranenu. Your priests will be robed in justice. And then your chasidim, those who are close to you, those who cleave to you, will celebrate. And this line is what caught my attention, because usually when we talk about, especially when we read in the Torah about all the priests, we talk about all these beautiful, the diamonds and emeralds and rubies, the breastplate that they wear, the glorious clothes that they wear. There's a lot of finery that we talk about the priests wearing. But what matters is that the priests are clothed in justice. Kohanecha yilbeshu tzedek. And what would it look like if we're able to get to that place where we don't really care about the diamonds and the rubies and the emeralds and the breastplates, but we care about is clothing ourselves in justice. And that's what happens when we put away the Torah. We say we're gonna incorporate these lessons that we've just read into our lives. And the lesson that we read, the big takeaway is robe ourselves in justice. So the Shuvah, this part where we're trying to figure out a way for this remnant, this holy presence to come and reside among us, we're going to hear that melody. And when we get to this part about the Chasidim Iranenu, we're going to imagine a time when we can robe ourselves in justice and what that might sound like, what that might feel like. And hopefully if you catch on, you'll sing that part with us. Shuvah, Shuvah, Shuvah Adonai, Rivevot Alfei Yisrael. Shuvah, Shuvah, Shuvah Adonai, Rivevot Alfei Yisrael. Kuma, Kuma Adonai, Limnuchatecha. Kuma, Kuma Ata V'Aronu Zecha. Shuvah, Shuvah, Shuvah Adonai, Rivevot Alfei Yisrael. Shuvah, Shuvah, Shuvah Adonai, Rivevot Alfei Yisrael. Kuma, Kuma Adonai, Limnuchatecha. Kuma, Kuma Ata V'Aronu Zecha. Kohanecha Yilbeshu Tzedek V'Chasidecha Yeranenu. 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 I feel like the moment where the priests are robed in justice has to be accompanied by maracas. There's it was a valiant effort.
Thank you to the 4 people who searched for a shaker for me.
Thanks for joining in on that energy with us. That was really nice. So we're moving closer and closer to that moment of stepping forward for Selichot, stepping forward for this moment of prayer. And I was thinking about, we sang this melody, Emet, all about truth, a couple times already this weekend, and we're going to try it out one more time right now. And I was thinking about something that I think is the truth, which is that in some ways, the high holidays are doing something easy the hard way, instead of doing something that feels like it might be hard, but really is something that's not so hard, something that's easy. And what I mean by that is this word Selichot is all about saying we're sorry. It's all about owning up to the things that we might have done wrong. And we put all this pomp and circumstance, we take these 40 days, we take especially these 2 days of Rosh Hashanah and 1 day of Yom Kippur, and we beat our chest, and we have a lot of pageantry and theatrics, and we do all of that just so that we can figure out all the things that we did wrong over the year and say we're sorry, and find a way to come forward and be a better version of ourselves in the next year. And wouldn't it just be easier if we just did that when we messed up, right? If we just owned up to the things that we may have done wrong in the moment that we did them. But in a lot of ways, that feels like the easy thing, and it's actually really hard to do. And so we do this thing, and in some ways, when we give ourselves the pageant, when we take these 3 days to really open ourselves up and sing out as loud as we can and beat our chest and step into this moment and come together, there's a way that we can let our true self come out in a clearer way when it's surrounded by other true selves who are doing the exact same thing, right? We're not all making mistakes at the same time. But if we can come together and we can do this thing together, it gives each one of us a little bit more permission to be human. A little more permission to own up to the things that we've done wrong and to figure out how we want to be this year. So we're going to sing this melody, which is about truth. And not just about truth, it's about emet atahu rishon, truth you are first, emet atahu acharon, truth you are last. But I learned one time that it's not, it can be read a different way also. It can be saying emet atahu rishon, in truth, you are first, and emet atahu acharon, in truth, you are last. There are times when you have to put yourself forward, and you have to make sure that the things that you care about are in the forefront. But more often than not, emet atahu acharon. You have to say, you know what? I need to help other people's truth come into the spotlight. People whose truths can't come out were it not for my help. People who don't get to be in the spotlight, who don't have the opportunity, who don't have the privileges that I have. How can we find a way to let those truths come out into the light? And so we're going to sing this melody, Emet Atah Rishon. And similar to what we did with Gam Kilech, hopefully you're going to find a time in this song where you can sing out with your full voice, Emet. And then take a moment sometime in the song and just listen. And feel what it's like to be carried by other people's voices. And as we move forward and move into the high holidays, I hope that you also find moments in our vast liturgy where you allow your own voice to carry you through, to own up to those things that you feel you want to do better in the next year. And that you find moments where you are carried, because we all make mistakes and we're all human. And that's why we have the support systems that are around us. And hopefully the music and the liturgy and the presence of each other in this particular time carries us through those moments of difficulty as well. rishon ata hu aharon umi baladecha emet ata hu rishon ata hu aharon umi baladecha. So we're going to sing one last song together before we make our way into Selichot. And this is a song all about singing our strength. In the beginning, we sing Va'ani Asher Uzecha, and I will sing your strength. And in the end, we sing Uzi Elecha Azamera, my strength, I will sing out to you. Through singing together, through bringing our voices together, we're able to find the power of our own voice. And that's the mantra that we're going to sing over and over, those last three words, Uzi Elecha Azamera. So I hope you'll sing that along with us. These words have been carrying me over the course of the pandemic. I found out in the very beginning of the pandemic that in 1897, there was a plague in the city of Bombay. And the Jewish community of Bombay reached out to the Ben Ish Chai, who was the chief rabbi of Baghdad at the time, and they asked him to write for them a siddur of prayers to say during a time of a plague. And he wrote them this siddur, and then somebody sent me the cover page and the centerfold of the siddur. On the cover page it says, Siddur la magefa, tikun la magefa, a fixing for the plague, le'omro bechol yom bazman ha-magefa be'ir Bombay, to be said every single day during the time of the plague in Bombay. And in the centerfold of the siddur are these words from Psalm 59, Va'ani asher uzecha va'aranen laboker chastecha, backwards and forwards like a mantra and over again. These words have been sitting and bringing comfort to our people for hundreds of years. Like I said in the beginning, right, these psalms have every human emotion. If we can find the one that fits us at any particular time, where we can try on these different verses, and when one sticks, we got to capture it and sing it out and open it up as much as we can. And so this is one that I've been singing a lot over the course of the last year and a half, and finding strength in that. Ki aita miskavli, for you've been a haven for me, umanos beyom tsarli, a help for me. And those three words that we'll sing together, Uzi elecha azamera, my strength, I will sing out to you. Hopefully you'll join with us. Va'ani ashiru zecha va'aranein lavoker chastecha ki hayita miskavli umanos beyom tsarli. Va'ani ashiru zecha va'aranein lavoker chastecha ki hayita miskavli umanos beyom tsarli. Uzi elecha azamera, azamera. Uzi elecha azamera, azamera. Uzi elecha azamera, azamera. Uzi elecha azamera, azamera. Va'ani ashiru zecha va'aranein lavoker chastecha ki hayita miskav li umanos beyom sarli. Uzi elecha azamera, azamera. 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 Uzi
Vani tefilati lecha. And I will be a prayer for you, God. These words from the beginning of our morning liturgy, we say at the very beginning of our services, beg the question, what does it mean to become a prayer? It's okay to offer a prayer, to say a prayer. What does it mean to become a prayer? It will be a prayer for you, God. I think a lot of the Torah that Josh has shared with us tonight has hinted at how we might become a prayer. Maybe to lift up our voices in song. We learned today the difference between melody and harmony. To just lift up our voices however they sound. As my friend Reverend Cameron Tribble says, even just to make a joyful noise. We can become a prayer that way. We can become a prayer by wrapping ourselves in the priestly robes of justice. To return to sit, to be in truth. Aneni be'emet. Because when we can sit with ourselves in truth, when we can be an honest prayer, we can offer up the prayer that's the deepest inside of us, then we're answered with truth. We're answered with salvation. And this isn't just a process for us. It's not just something which makes us feel good, but it's what creates community, the deepest sorts of community. The sorts of community where we can each bring the fullness of ourselves together in this moment. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, so that someone could walk in and say, how beautiful are your tents? How beautiful are these dwelling places? Ani tefilati. Let us be a prayer.
tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Va'ani tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Elohim v'rov chatzdecha Aneni v'emet ishecha Elohim v'rov chatzdecha Aneni v'emet ishecha Va'ani tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Va'ani tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Elohim merov chasecha Aneni emet ishecha Elohim merov chasecha Aneni be'emet ishecha Ma tovu Ma tovu Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Ma tovu Ma tovu Ma tovu Mishkenotecha Yisrael Ma tovu Ma tovu Ma tovu Ma tovu Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Ma tovu Ma tovu Ma tovu Mishkenotecha Yisrael
We enter into our liturgy with number 9 at the top of page 4. Ashrei Yoshvei Meitecha Od Yalelucha Od Yalelucha Ashrei Yoshvei Meitecha Tilat Adonai yadaber pi, v'rechol b'sar Shem kodsho le'olam va'ed, v'anachnu nevarech ya, me'atah ve'ad olam, hallelujah. We rise together for the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah v'yalma dirach girutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomeichonu uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael b'gala uv'zman karim v'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Le'olmei Olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha v'richu le'ela u'le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran ve'alma ve'imeru Amen.
May be seated. On Friday nights, we go out into the fields. Lechu neranena l'Adonai and Ariya l'tzur yishenu. We go out to meet the Shabbos bride. But as Josh taught me a couple of days ago, he pointed out on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's the opposite. HaMelech basadeh, the king is in the field. God comes down. And it's certainly a joyous moment. We raise up our voice in song in myriads of piyutim, of liturgical poems throughout the days, trying to capture the joy of that moment. But the interesting thing is that the idea of a king which appears, HaMelech basadeh, that the king is in the field, is not one of God up high on a throne in judgment, but rather is a God which is in front of us, which is maybe frolicking amongst the lilies with us. That God of the song of songs, the lover trying to come together to create this beautiful world together. And I'd like to think that when we raise up our voices a little bit, that we create some of that magic, some of that sensuality, some of that presence that will join us in just a few days. Number 3 on page 5, Lechu neranena l'Adonai, let us sing to God.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Lechu neranena l'Adonai.
Nariya letzur yishenu nekadma fanav betoda. Nariya letzur yishenu nekadma fanav betoda. Mizmirot nariya lo.
אישנו נקדמה פנה בתודה נריה לצור אישנו נקדמה פנה בתודה מזמירות נריה לו מזמירות נריה לו מזמירות נריה לו הנשמה לך והגוף פועלך חוסה חוסה על המלאך הנשמה לך והגוף פועלך חוסה חוסה על המלאך הנשמה לך והגוף שלך אדוני יעשה למען שמך הנשמה לך והגוף פועלך אדוני יעשה למען שמך. Continue in our Sidurim with number 5, which is a beautiful piyut written by Yehuda Halevi. And it fits right here in this within the High Holiday liturgy, like Sam was talking about. This is a moment of greeting the Holy One out in the field. This is a moment of going out and finding a partner, finding a connection, but also finding someone who might be willing to lend us a listening ear. And these words, these beautiful words that were fit into some of our new machzorim, but also it's all about Ya'ana Emtzacha, where might I go to find you? Or how can I go look out and find where God might be? And there's an ancient Hasidic tale of a rabbi whose child goes out into the forest every day to pray. Every day goes out somewhere into the forest. And the rabbi says to the child, Why are you going out into the forest every day? Don't you know that God is the same everywhere? And the child says, God might be the same everywhere, but I am not. And when we can find a way to go out, to step out of where we are, we can find a way to just flip that switch that changes one thing within us that allows us to waken up just a little bit more. And that's exactly what the words of this chorus are trying to say. These words, we're going to sing this melody that Sam wrote, and it's really a gorgeous melody that brings out the meaning of these words. Darashti kirvatech, I sought your nearness. Bechol libi karaticha, with all my heart I yearned to be close to you. Uvtseiti likratcha, when I went out searching for you. Likrati metzaticha, I already found you coming towards me. When I went out searching for you, I already found you coming towards me. Isn't that true love, right? That you're going out looking for your love, and suddenly you see them. They're already on their way towards you, and that's what's happening right now. We're going out. We're trying to find a way to get closer to God, to come to the holidays, and look, what do you know? We go out into the fields, and God is already there. Hamelech vasadeh, our ruler is right there in the field with us. So we're going to sing these words, calling out, where might we go to find you?
Yana
אמצעך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמצעך, כבודך מלא עולם. הנמצא בקרבים, אפסי ארץ הקים, המשכב לקרובים, המבטח לרחוקים. אתה יושב קרובים, אתה יושב קרובים, אתה שוכן שחקים. תתעלה מצווך ואת ראש מעל אליו, גלגל אלוה יששכר. אף כי חדרי, אף כי חדרי, אף כי חדרי עולם, ינה אמצעך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמצעך, כבודך מלא עולם. ינה אמצעך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמצעך, כבודך מלא עולם. דרשתי כבודך בכל ליבי קראתיך, וצאתי לקראתך, לקראתך מצאתיך, ופילי גבורתך, ופילי גבורתך. בקודש חזיתיך, מי אומר לא רחה, אין שמיים וחילם, יגידו מורך. בלי נשמע, בלי נשמע, בלי נשמע קולם, ינה אמצעך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמצעך, כבודך מלא עולם. ינה אמצעך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמצעך, כבודך מלא עולם. ינה אמצעך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמצעך, כבודך מלא the mic down. Selichot brings us into this moment of the holidays, mostly through the melodies. We've done a lot of new melodies tonight, or maybe some you've been familiar from Josh's music. But now we really get into the core of Selichot, coming into our first recitation, our recitation of the 13 attributes. The words, the phrase that God gives to Moses anytime we're in need of asking for forgiveness. And it's these melodies which really carry us and begin to it's really for me in these moments that we really enter the high holiday season. Number 6.
El melech yoshev al kisei rachamim mitnaheg b'chasidut mochel avonot amo Ma'avir rishon rishon marbe mechila lachatayim Uselicha lafoshim, Uselicha lafoshim, Oset tzedakot, im kol basar veruach, lo kiratam tigmol, lo kiratam tigmol. El reitel anamar shlosh esrei, uschar lanam breach shlosh esrei, kemo shodati anav mikedem, kemo shekatuv, vayer Adonai be'anan midatzev imosham, vayikra b'shem Adonai, vayavor Adonai al panav, vayikra Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Nosei Avon V'Afesha V'Chata V'Nakeh.
V'salachta la'avonenu l'chatatenu u'nechatanu. Selach lanu avinu ki chatanu, nechal lanu malkeinu ki fashanu, ki ata Adonai tov v'salach v'rav chesed l'chol korecha. May be seated. Shema koleinu Adonai Eloheinu, chus v'rachem aleinu, v'kabel berachamim uvratzon et tefilateinu.
Chus v'rachem aleinu, v'korach v'ratzon et tefilateinu.
These words which appear in bold in our sheets, Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem, also come from our Torah service, the very end of our Torah service. And we notice that these words return to us, cause us to return to you, God, are in the plural here. But in the setting by Micah Shapiro and Aaron Alpern, they actually put it in the singular. And I think that it's a beautiful moment to sing this in the singular. During Elul, we go through this process of introspection on our own, each as individuals. And then we come to the high holidays and we do everything in the plural. All of our sins are in the plural. We take on all of the sins of ourselves, our people. But in this moment, we ask just for ourselves, return me, God, to you. And I will return. Chadesh yameinu kekedem, renew each day as if they were new, as if they were an act of creation, as if we were fully alive each and every day, each and every moment.
Yameinu kekedem
חדש חדש ימינו כקדם השיבני והשובה והשובה השיבני השיבני והשובה והשובה חדש 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 ימינו ימינו כקדם חדש 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 ימינו כקדם חדש חדש ימינו אל תשליכנו מלפניך ורוח קודשך תיקח ממנו.
אל תשליכנו מלפניך ורוח קודשך תיקח ממנו.
אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו.
אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו.
אל תרחק ממנו.
אל תעזבנו אדוני אלוהינו אל תרחק ממנו.
עשה עמנו עד לטובה וישמענו אמרנו עזינו
רצוני מבינו ולבנו לפניך אדוני צורנו וגואלנו כי לך עוד אדוני אוכלנו אתה תענה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהינו ולאבותינו תבוא לפניך תפילתנו ואל תתעלם מתחינתנו שאין אנחנו עזי פנים וכשעורף לומר לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו אבל אנחנו ואבותינו חטאנו. We'll rise together for the first moment when we acknowledge the ways in which we might have done better this past year, the ways in which we hope to do better the next year. And we sing in this hopeful melody, we sing in the major key. We sing in the hopes that the times that we are approaching, that those moments when we approach the same situation that we were in, we might have done the wrong thing. That real tshuva is being in those same situations and choosing a different path. Ay, 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 ay. Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
Bagadnu,
Bagadnu,
Gazalnu,
Gazamnu,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Dibarnu Dofi.
Ay, 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 Hevinu, Vehir Shanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu Sheker, Ay, 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 ay. Yatznura.
Yatznura.
Kizavnu.
Kizavnu.
Latznu.
Latznu.
Maradnu.
Maradnu.
Niatznu.
Niatznu.
Sararnu.
Sararnu.
Avinu.
Avinu.
Pashanu.
Pashanu.
Sararnu.
Sararnu.
Kishinu ore.
Kishinu ore.
Ay, 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 Rashanu.
Rashanu.
Shichatnu.
Shichatnu.
Tiavnu.
Tiavnu.
Tainu.
Tainu.
Titanu.
Titanu.
Sarnu mitzvotecha mishvotecha tovim v'lo shavalanu v'ata tzadika kol aleinu ki emet asita v'anachnu irshanu.
Maybe seated.
Ay, 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 nay, 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 na, 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 nay, nay. Ay, 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 nay, nay, ay, nay, na, 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 nay, ay, nay, nay. Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Haorim Shema Yisrael. Shomer Goy Kadosh, Shemor Sherit Am Kador Echad, Ve'al Yovad Goy Echad, Am Yachad Yim Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shomer Goy Kadosh, Shemor Sherit Am Kadosh, Ve'al Yovad Goy Kadosh, Am Shashim B'Shalosh Kedushot LeKadosh. Ay, 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 nay, nay, ay, ay, na, 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 nay, nay, ay, 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 nay, 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 na, 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 nay, ay, nay, nay, ay, nay, ay, nay, 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 na, 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 nay, nay, ay, 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 nay, nay, ay, nay, nay, ay, nay, 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 nay.
You rise for Kaddish Shalem.
Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yirutei ve'amelich malchutei v'chayechon uve'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'gala uv'izman kari ve'imeru ve'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach Leolam, 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 Yitparach, ve'yishtabach, ve'yitpar, ve'yitromam, ve'yitnaseh, ve'yitadar, ve'yitale, ve'yitalal, Shemei de Kudesha, Shemei de Kudesha, Brichu, Leila min kol birchata, ve'shirata, Tushvechata, ve'nechemata, damirana, ve'alma, Meru ve'meru, amen. Titkabel tzeloton uvaton decho Beit Yisrael kadam avon edivishmaya ve'meru 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 ve'meru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'ala kol Yisrael ve'meru 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 ve'meru, amen. Oseh shalom b'meromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'meru ve'meru
seated. I want to take a moment just to express my deep gratitude for you, Josh, for being here this weekend, for raising up our souls. And really, I know this was what I needed in order to get my soul ready for the holiday and to just be able to breathe, sing for a bit before we really get into crunch time this week. So thank you for being here, for bringing your melodies, for bringing your spirit, and we look forward to having you back in the future. And I want to thank Bonnie again just for playing with us tonight and for singing and adding so much lusciousness to our experience tonight, and to all of you for joining us, those in the sanctuary and those at home. It was a pleasure to kick off this holiday season together with you. We are going to end with one more song, and then maybe we'll play a nigun on the way out. And just a little bit of a plug for next week. This melody was written by our dear friend Eliana Light, who is joining us in our Zoom right now. And Eliana will be here next week for our holidays, helping to lead our services and raising up our family services together. And she and my family will be here the next weekend leading services. So if you liked what you saw this weekend, please come back and sing with us again. We'll have even more voices together. And so, like I promised, we end with Psalm 27, our psalm for the season of repentance. V'choneni v'aneni koli yakra shema havaya. It really sits in this place. I talked about this at Minyan this week. It's a 6-word prayer, much like Ana Elna Rafana La, God heal us now, and it's just as beautiful. Shema Adonai, hear me, God. Hear my voice when I call out to you. V'choneni v'aneni. May you be gracious to me. May you be compassionate to me. And may you answer me. And this is my prayers for us as we enter into this holiday season. May those prayers, may the songs, the prayers of our soul, the prayers that we are, come out, be expressed, rise up in song, and may they be answered in this year. May they be answered for blessing, for health, for joy, for success. And did I say health? For health. Number 11. V'choneni, oh, v'aneni, v'choneni, oh, v'aneni, koli Shema Havaya Havaya Shema 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 Havaya Havaya Shema Shema V'choneni oh, v'aneni v'choneni oh, v'aneni koli ekra koli ekra koli Shana Tova. May it be a sweet year for all.
Shana Tova.